Ah, boy. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us live. Just a quick disclaimer. I know we're all so tired of hearing that negativity. But we got some things we got to say. There's some positivity here too. Just letting you guys know up front. But as the most hardcore of the Xbox fans, sometimes you gotta speak some real shit. And I'm here with some real motherfuckers, Randolph Thor and Cole Eastwood. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream here. The quick impromptu stream.
Indeed. No, it's got to be done.
Is there a way I can escape this podcast? Like
you gotta go that room, jump in, find the live stream, and figure it out there.
Oh damn! Cole, give me that syringe over there. Let's figure this out.
I don't know, chat. Like I said, feel free to let us know what you think. We might take some questions and stuff. We're more than happy to do that as we talk about what's been going on. So we want to cover the State of Decay 2 review stuff going on. We were obviously wrong on our predictions of how this game would do. We want to cover the new Halo game. We want to cover Inside Xbox Episode 3. And really, I want to start by talking about this Halo, a game that's so exclusive, you can't even play it in your own fucking house or on an Xbox. You got to go to a Dave & Buster's or whatever they said. So what's it called, Rand? Give us the lowdown on this, Rand. Give us your thoughts, man.
Well, it's Halo Fireteam Raven, and it's going to be available as a 4-player cooperative arcade shooter at Dave & Buster's, your local Dave & Buster's here in the United States and Canada. And
so I got to drive to the next state. I don't even
know where I got to drive. I think there's one somewhere close by, but I got to say, it's not the Halo announcement I was kind of looking forward to. I wasn't expecting a light gun announcement. It's a game I would love to play if I could be able to play it, but I don't know. You think Microsoft is maybe not exactly sure what their fans want anymore? I don't know. Colt, you were going to go on a rant. You promised a rant beforehand.
There's plenty to rant about. I mean, I can't start right now. There's plenty to talk about.
Why can't you start right now?
Well, I got to say, I got to drive 2.5 hours to Seattle and spend $1 to play this game for 3 minutes. This is the dumbest thing. I mean, I'm sorry, dumbest thing. That's a hyperbole, but this is not this isn't what we wanted. And I haven't been to an arcade since Vanilla Ice was cool. So I don't even know what in the heck.
Very cool and relevant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know when the last time I went to an arcade to go and play games other than walking by one on the way to Bed Bath & Beyond. It's like, this is ridiculous.
And every time you looked in there, you're like, holy shit, those things don't have much longer. You're not thinking new Halo game,
You mean Bed Bath & Beyond or the arcades?
The arcades.
Are arcades even really a thing anymore, though? You know what I mean? Like I remember going to the arcades all the time to play Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and Street Fighter and all that stuff, and they were plentiful, but do they really exist that much anymore, or 30 people going to play this game?
No, I mean, they have in some big malls, they have little arcade type things, but Dave & Buster is a prominent one, but this thing is only at Dave & Buster. It's an exclusive
for now.
So Dave & Buster gets a better Halo exclusive than Xbox does.
And we're still kind of waiting for people to roll in because, believe it or not, Inside Xbox, how long has this been going on? Since 5:30, so 2 hours now. This fucking show is still on, right? So to me, it was filled with the most useless information of all of them. And I've said this, you guys know me. I've asked people why they expect E3 news at this kind of show, because it's a reboot of an older show that went off that kind of did the same thing. This one has a slightly larger budget. But this show was so full of so much useless information, and just I understand, and I try to look at it as, well, maybe fuckface down the street cares about this, but I find it hard to believe there are many people that cared about most of what was talked about there. And I will say, as the voice of reason, that this was not something that Microsoft pursued. The company that made the game came to them and said, hey, can we license your game and turn it into this fucking light gun game? I get that. But at the same time, don't fucking announce it on Inside Xbox. Don't even talk about it.
That's not the problem. 343 said, no, they basically, I'm going to paraphrase them. They said, there's no Halo 6 this year, but there is something for you for Halo this year. And we're like, oh, are at the very least they're going to throw Reach and Master Chief Collection? Are they going to do Halo 3 Anniversary Edition? Are they going to have like a side spin-off Halo game they've been working on while they finish Halo 6? And it ends up being a 4-player duck hunt version of Halo.
Hey,
you can
man,
only play.
Let's all drive to Dave and Buster's and play some co-op. Predator H2O said the safe room shit is killing me. I'm surprised you're still watching it, brother. Like, it's hard to do. Rand, I know you're upset.
No. Look. I'm not upset about the Halo thing, right? I know there's Halo games in the work. Halo 6, potentially a spinoff game. God, I hope that spinoff game isn't what this ended up to be, because I would be disappointed. What really bothers me was that fucking escape room nonsense they showed off for State of Decay 2. Like, I don't know who approved that at Inside Xbox, but whoever did should be reprimanded, because it was 30 minutes long. It went through 2 people, and there was no point. I don't understand. This whole show is supposed to be about State of Decay 2, a game which is launching tonight on Ultimate Edition.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole segment is basically about, let's get in the mood for zombies and watch people escape a room. While that may be fun to do if you're actually part of escaping the room, it did not translate very well on the stream. And I just couldn't believe that not only did they do this in the first place, not only did they give it half an hour, but they thought it was the thing to end the show with. Like,
oh my god!
Like, people were just like, when we were watching the show, they had about 7,000 people on Mixer and like 3,000 on YouTube. When I went back and looked at like when they went with the second group of people, they were down to 1,000 on Mixer and like 1,000 on YouTube. People just left the stream, and I can't. Someone at PR is tone deaf when it comes to this stuff, because for me, watching people escape a room does not make me interested in State of Decay 2 one bit. I don't see the correlation.
That's all it made me want to escape. Give me the fuck out of the stream.
It's one of those things that you go in and you experience yourself. You don't watch it with 2 video cameras shooting it. It's ridiculous.
Now, I want to thank the most hardcore motherfuckers there are in this community for joining us. But I also want to thank them for being understanding. As Xbox fans ourselves, I know I talked to a lot of these guys behind the scenes. They're wondering what the fuck is going on. And so are we. Because that whole fear escape room shit, the most damage control of the damage control couldn't damage control that shit. Because it was pointless. It felt like maybe if you were 10, you'd think that's interesting. But Xbox as a brand was embraced by the hardcore back in 2001. And I feel like the hardcores, the guys who really made it what it was, are being left behind in a lot of ways. And we talked about this in RDX, the need for more games and more mature narrative-driven IPs and all that good stuff, while not neglecting the fact that third parties do absolutely count. Only frauds act like third parties don't exist. I think they're both important. So how do you feel about this the way the direction's headed, Colt?
Well, the hardcore, when you're talking about 2001, when the original Xbox dropped, like that hardcore audience that grew up on Halo, those guys are 30 years old. They're 40 years old. The mean age of gamers on the Xbox platform and even PlayStation, they're in their late 20s to early 40s, right? And
by the way, Elo in the chat says that the stream is still going.
Take off the blindfold. I can't take off the blindfold. My hands are tied. I've got one hand free, but I'm going to use it. So yeah, it's just I feel like this massive disconnect. Here's my rant. Are you ready, Rand?
Yes, please give it to me.
Here's the massive disconnect. Microsoft should know who their customers are and who their hardcore fan base group is, and they are hardcore. They want modern and mature single-player games. They're not delivering. Basically, what we're looking at right now, and I've tried to minimize this as much as possible as I kind of leave a little thread of faith for Microsoft to bring something at E3 this year. Let's wait for E3. But basically, it's boiled down to is their last big hit was at the end of 2016 with Forza Horizon 3, and then Gears did great. It was right after that, and the next big hit won't be until exactly 2 years later with Forza Horizon 4. And so I kept thinking that there was a whole year where Microsoft was in a slump. But then you look at them like, in actuality, they're really in almost a 2-year slump. And the timing is terrible because that's when PS4 came out of their slump. Into the beginning of 2017, they've been knocking out like a good handful of really great games. So I just feel like Microsoft doesn't know what their fans want, and we're going to get into some of that a little more as we move along with the show, because I don't want to get into some of the other stuff that dealer's about to bring up.
Well, let me ask you and Rand and the chat a question. If you've got nothing, if you've got jack shit, what would you do? Would you show would you show Halo, Fireteam Raven, or would you just show nothing?
See,
yeah,
I think Halo Fireteam Raven is one of those things that's best suited as an Xbox Newswire piece with just like an article and a trailer, not something that is kind of dedicated to like a part of a show and kind of made it seem like a big thing. Like, hey, get excited! Here's a Halo game that, well, the majority of people watching are never going to be able to play or experience, especially when you could argue that the game situation on Xbox is not in the best place. You know, if this was 2015 and Halo 5 was out, maybe nobody cares. And it's like, okay, cool, another Halo game for something else. But nobody knows when Halo 6 is coming out. You know, State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves launched 2 very mediocre reviews. People want more games. Sony's constantly seem to be putting out great titles. And then you announce an exclusive game for Dave & Buster's. It seems to be putting out the wrong message.
We are getting a lot of those third parties that propped Sony up last year, you know, and we know that behind the scenes there's more coming for sure. Sony released NAC 2, GT Sport, Horizon Zero Dawn, MLB The Show last year, and Uncharted DLC. And, you know, I don't know, the average gamer might find 1 or 2 of those appealing, and I'm not going to play GT Sport because I have Forza, which did much better. To me, I buy 1 game a year on PlayStation, so I don't see it exactly the same way because a lot of that stuff doesn't appeal to me personally. It doesn't mean it's not great. It doesn't mean a lot of people won't absolutely love things like Nioh, but it is not for me personally. It's just a lot of that was third party, and this year Microsoft already slated to do better than last year because that was fucking abysmal, as we had talked about several times. And State of Decay comes out, and I'm really leading into the State of Decay review stuff here in a minute, but State of Decay comes out and it's getting hammered, even though it's better than the first game in every single way. I just hear a lot of things that I'm like, well, they don't mention the price. They don't mention it's a budget title, but they're also saying it looks fucking horrible. But I'm sitting here looking at it on YouTube, and I actually think it looks pretty good for a $30 game, especially compared to its predecessor. And you know, you've already played the shit out of the game. We'll get your opinion on that stuff too. But when it comes to Halo Light Game Gun, like Halo Gun Light Game Gun Halo, whatever the fuck it's called, Arcade Dave & Buster's Halo Special, I just don't get it. And I think people are upset because they're waiting for actual Halo 6 news, Rand. I mean, would you agree? Maybe that's why they're so. What is that noise?
Duck Hunt music.
Oh my god.
Halo Duck Hunt.
Halo Duck Hunt, yes. I think people are just upset, man. They want to see real AAA Halo news, and I think they'll get that in the next year, but that's another fucking year. Is that what you think the problem is, Rand? Maybe that's why this is amplified?
Well, I'm glad that they didn't show this at E3. I mean, we said that. We were watching the stream and saying, well, good thing they didn't put this up on the stage. You know, wheel that 4-player, you know, quadruple screen up there with a bunch of dorks sitting there playing. I'm on your 6. Like, I'm glad. I mean, we have to Cole's a fraud. We have to temper the expectations because inside Xbox, what they get like 3,000 people watching. A whole like 0.02% of the Xbox fan base watches that show. So if you're gonna put out something, you know, flaccid like that, I'd rather not have that at E3. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
and Rand said he'll be right back. But I get what you're saying, man. Let us know what you think in the chat too, and in the comments if you're watching this after the fact. I'm a dude that wants to see some new AAA narrative-driven story games, you know, and keep in mind they can also have multiplayer as well. Last of Us had multiplayer, for instance. A lot of people forget it's not strictly a single-player game. You can combine the two, and I know Microsoft are working on those things, but revealing Light Gun Halo doesn't necessarily benefit us like we would hope, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. But in other news here, they did announce that Halo Master Chief Collection, they're really going to double down on it and try to actually fix the fucking game. So, I mean, that goes from the 4K enhancements, the HDR, and the new UI refresh, and all kinds of stuff like intelligent delivery, where you can actually decide which one you want to download and save on hard drive space, all that crap. To a new PUBG map. What is that map called? Fucking, I don't know.
Miramax or Miramar or whatever it is.
Miramax. Yeah, Miramax is coming to PUBG very soon.
Universal Studios.
The date is the 24th, so that Miramax will hit on the 24th.
So Miramax. At this point,
Miramax, man.
Miramax.
Since Halo Master Chief Collection is 4 years old, like, isn't it good enough the way it is? Just leave it alone. Like, what is with the time and resources put into that? Like,
because they knew they were going to push Halo back and give it an additional year.
But I mean, in the chat, who's still playing Halo Master Chief Collection? Just put a little hand up emoji or something.
Well, I also think they wanted to fix it because they want to put it in Game Pass, so kind of boost up the multiplayer numbers, and it wouldn't be a really good look if they did that and the multiplayer still, wasn't functioning properly. I mean, it's great that they went back and fixed it, but it never should have been a problem in the first place. Like, it should have been 100% ready to go from day one back in 2014. This is one of the biggest clusterfucks for a gaming launch ever, but I mean, at least they're fixing it. But I think Dealer's right. I think they knew Halo 6 is 2019 or 2020. There was no Halo last year, and they want to give some sort of Halo thing this year, so got to fix MCC and put that out, to give people something at least.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was hoping for Reach to be thrown in there as a kind of like, we're doing this work, and here's something you can actually experience if you want. But
well, Dealer, you're a big Forza fan? Weren't you a little bit disappointed by what they talked about in Forza 7 on the in the show?
Yeah, but I want to talk about these fucking dick lickers. These fucking idiots that are basically making fun of the Xbox Adaptive Controller.
Oh, this is a heavy.
Now, you want to talk about motherfuckers with real problems, okay? Imagine being born with one fucking arm. You can't fucking talk or move properly. You got to play games with what you can play games with. You don't got real problems compared to these people with disabilities. Trust me. And you're making jokes about these people using disabled controllers to play games. What a bunch of fucking fuck faces. Jump off a cliff. I swear to God, that stuff's really annoying to me.
I said in my podcast today with Jez that the people that make fun of that are just scum. True scum.
Even referencing it in regards to Xbox has no games.
Yep.
You're a dick licker.
Like, if you want to make fun of the games that Xbox has all day, then go ahead. I'm fine. They're all just subjective experiences at the end of the day. But
they're just games.
I mean, they're just games too, and everybody feels a different way about them. And I don't get hurt when you like, oh, Rand really likes this game, but I'm gonna trash it. I don't get hurt when you make fun of Xbox. When you come into my chat and say, oh, Xbox done, Rand, I don't go cry in the corner. You know what I mean? I don't get...
It bounces off your forehead. It's nothing. Yeah. Like, I don't give a shit. Good job.
I'm not emotionally invested in the console. It's just where I like to play. Now, with that said, I think the adaptive controller is an amazing step forward to allowing disabled gamers to more comfortably play how they want to play. And it's a step that should be applauded, and people should be behind this 100%. And nobody, whether they're a fanboy or a toxic troll, should say one bad word about it, because if you do, you're fucking scum.
Yep, and those toxic trolls on Twitter, they're just radical fanboys that get away with saying, I'm just trolling. No, you're just sucking cock and getting away with it. It's fine. So it is what it is. So people talking about others and their disabilities, and you couldn't last a day in their shoes. So don't even mention them. Don't talk about it. Let them try to game. Motherfuckers want a game. So I think it's good that Microsoft are giving them an option. Speaking of options, No Man's Sky Almost Done Edition coming out July 24th. For Xbox. Now, Rand, you said something interesting about the co-op, and trust me, guys, we got a lot of good discussion coming with the State of Decay review stuff going on here, but I want to get Rand's take on this co-op and No Man's Sky. You said you might actually consider it if it's got co-op.
Yeah, because it's a type of game that I'm not really interested in, that survival kind of horde game where you go in there and you got to mine minerals and do all a bunch of stuff. The game looked really cool, but considering it's like 2 years old at this point, I was like, it's great for fans on Xbox that wanted to play it. But if I can play with 4 of my friends and have that experience, I'm really considering checking it out now. because it seems like a game that would greatly benefit from co-op. And who knows, maybe I'll play with you two frauds on Xbox Live.
Hey, Colt, come over here and beat on this tree with your gun with me. Okay.
Colt's gonna be like, wait a minute, I don't have an Xbox.
Where are you at? Are you by the third son from the left? Yeah, I'm over here. Come on. Yeah, just fly this way. And they better have a really good way of finding your co-op buddies. That's all I got to say about that.
Oh, I'm sure they've got some way we can just drop in the same location. But, No Man's Sky probably is double the game that it was on the launch for PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that, piques my interest enough to buy the game, since I kind of know what it was. But like that buggy footage where the buggy was kind of drifting around on the moon and stuff, it looked kind of cool. But
I don't know if that was in the original game.
No, it came like a year later, I think.
So,
or if it's pretty recent.
Yeah,
I don't follow that.
It doesn't launch at full price, but it's damn close. I mean, if I ever do pick it up, it's because I'm fucking bored as shit, because there's nothing in July, or I'll just wait for it to get a sale. So they did also they spent time talking about Black Panther at this fucking event,
exclusive to Xbox. If you didn't
I don't give a shit if you like Black Panther or not, whatever. It's the principle of the matter. You're fucking wasting time advertising a movie at Inside Xbox. And no fraud, like a couple drama channels out there talking. One guy made a joke about Black Panther being exclusive on Xbox, and the drama channels have to, no, Xbox fanboys, it's not exclusive. I mean, oh my God. It's cringy. So when Microsoft wastes time on stuff like that, movies at an Inside Xbox event, not a big fan of that. When it comes to Forza, let me run through this so we can get to the good shit. And I want to say thanks to everyone showing up. Random ass stream, random ass time of the day. There's probably 50 other streams going on, but thank you guys for rocking out with us. Forza 7, basically getting shit, that it should have. So it's got some track side markers. Here's how you stay on the road. Problem is, you can go off the road and still have a clean lap in a lot of areas. They don't address that at all. They don't patch that in. They just show you where the track starts and ends. So I guess it's good for casuals. A time attack mode and some drag racing stuff. So they're doing some improvements to drag racing as well. You're getting a new Sea of Thieves update, Rand.
I am excited.
You sound like.
I mean, look, Sea of Thieves needs content, right? We all agree on that. It needs more content. So it's coming end of the month, right? May 29th or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first of 6 for the entire year. The first of 6 content drops. It's funny because I mentioned in my prediction video that we would see more about Sea of Thieves at E3, and I said, I don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. But man, there are a lot of
maybe they just dodged that bullet.
Yeah, maybe they did. But there were some really hurt Sea of Thieves fans in my comment that were like, we don't talk about the game like that, Rand. I really like Sea of Thieves. And I'm like, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just talking about, come on. Like, I don't know. I just don't care about Sea of Thieves at this point. I just don't. I don't care about it.
Well, most people don't. It's already like under the top 25th most played game on Xbox Live, and that's while it's in Game Pass. It's under NBA 2K17, people.
Jeez.
So sometimes you just got to accept the reality that my review is 1,000% right, and we can all just move on and admit that, hey, had a ton of promise, as I said in my review. It's an amazing foundation, but then there's fun in the game. You can, go chase some pigs and shit if that's your thing. But it's just not a finished game. And
they said that they May 22nd they have that new content release, and they said they have 6 more planned for the rest of the month, which would be around every month until the end of the year. But what do you guys think they mean by updates? I mean, they're not talking fix patches. They mean some kind of update. But what do they mean when they say 6 more planned for the end of the year? Clarify that for everybody here.
Ryan, go ahead.
I mean, I think
this game more than all of us.
Yeah, sure. I gave it a 7.
29th, everyone's May 29th.
I think they're actually talking about the content, like actually adding things that aren't cosmetic stuff. New quests, maybe new enemies to fight. I know Rare is above 200 people now. When originally it was only 100. Rare only had 100 people while they were making the game, but they Xbox let them hire, and they're at 200. So now they have even double the force to put up with these like live content things. And that's this game's going to live or die and how fast and how good the content comes for the game, similar to like Destiny.
Do you think they should have just doubled the force so they could actually just launch a finished game instead?
They probably, but I don't think Xbox really believed in Sea of Thieves, which is why they didn't. But now, that they're fully behind it, now that, Meyerson's gone and there's money to be spent, they gave Rare the ability to go and hire extra people. So yeah, Sea of Thieves probably would have been a different game if they had 200 people making it for 4 years instead of 100.
Double M says salty deal. Of course I'm salty. I mean, pro-consumer motherfucker should be a little salty about Sea of Thieves. Sorry.
Yeah, and 2 weeks after launch is too late. If you say 2 weeks passes after the launch and you're like, you know what, we're going to do more. We're going to do more for Sea of Thieves. It's like in the gaming world, and you guys should agree with me. In the gaming world, we're done. We've moved on. But I know a lot of you, when you hung up your your sword for Sea of Thieves, like after 2 weeks, like maybe it was 1 week or 2 weeks. I'm sure all of you, when you were done, and maybe some of you uninstalled the game, but it's a little too late. And waiting, 2 months after the May 29th would be like a solid 2 months after the game kind of flopped. Yeah, it's too late. Nobody's going back.
What? I'm dying just talking about it. So Shady texted me and said something about maybe jumping in. So he might jump in, but we're going to talk about the State of Decay 2 stuff going on right now. As you guys know, the game's at a 69 on Metacritic right now. I'd said it on Twitter, and for some reason people think this is damage control. I guess they're just stupid. I say, hey, the game is a 69 or whatever. The game is what it is, and if you like the first one, you're probably going to – I said it got anywhere from a 9 to a 5. If you like the first one, if you're a big fan of the first one, you're probably going to think it's closer to a 9. If you didn't like the first one, you're probably going to think it's a 5 or 6. But it really depends on who you are. And for me, I'm still really excited because it's hard to think because there's not one review that says this is worse than the first game. And I already know it looks better in the first game. It already runs better in the first game, even with its problems. So I know I'm going to really like the second game. I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. I still played the first one and enjoy it, believe it or not. So with this game having better performance, no matter how many drops they might have saw, the first one had way more and it was way worse. This one looks way better, no matter what people want to think. I'd already done the comparison and showed that directly. This game has co-op, though pretty buggy at launch. As I said, it would be yesterday. I'll probably play. This is how I'm going to justify this. Right? This might be a stretch, but I don't think it's ever good to launch with any feature that doesn't work 100% as the cops come and try to arrest me. I think that maybe they should have pushed it back a little more, but I'll just play the single player and hopefully the multiplayer pans out for me personally. Some people it's worked for, some it hasn't. That's just the story of the game. But I don't see this being worse in any way than the first game for me because I'm a massive fan of the first game. And that's how I'm still very excited for State of Decay 2. But these reviews are just destroying the game, aren't they, Rand? I mean, you did a review. You've got a lot of time in the game. Give us your thoughts on all of this.
Well, I mean, I gave the game a 7.5, mainly because I felt what the game does right outweighs some of the bad issues it does have. Now, keep in mind, I didn't play the first game. I really didn't know anything about it. So this is my first experience with State of Decay. And I really like the permadeath aspect of it. It really kind of lends itself to these tense moments where you don't have your max stamina, you can't really swing a lot, and you're searching these buildings or trying to get away from these hordes of zombies that really kind of made the game a ton of fun for me to play. And I played like 15 hours of it so far. I play it slow and methodical. I go around, I loot the buildings so everybody's happy in my community. But I mean, it does have its issues. Like the co-op doesn't work properly, which is unfortunate. There's bugs. You'll see so many bugs, and it's just disappointing because I just like with Sea of Thieves, I see the potential of the game here. Like this game could be bigger. It could be better if Microsoft, I think, believed in the dev to give them like a bigger budget. I mean, because essentially what this game is just the first game on new hardware.
It's co-op that doesn't work and some more base building mechanics and stuff like that. Yeah,
and all that stuff is good. Like the core, like the systems in place, the base building, the community aspect, the scavenging for stuff. That's all great. it's just all the minutia that surrounds it, like all the glitches and bugs that kind of just weigh it down a little.
How's the frame rate stability on the Xbox?
It comes and goes. Sometimes it's quite good. Sometimes it's very bad. It's usually depending on like how many enemies are on screen or if you're traveling by car. It fluctuates quite a bit. I mean, the game
Just
looks
in single player.
Yeah,
Like
I'm playing single player mostly. Like co-op is just a laggy, glitchy mess for the clients. Like none of my friends wanted to play it for more than 10 minutes because it just wasn't fun. They were just having a terrible time, just like basically warping all over the place.
So the host of the game it was fine, and that might be, some people are like, I didn't see any problems watching the stream. It's probably because you're watching a stream of a host where he was hosting the game. People would join him on his, you know what I'm saying? So that's probably why, which leads us to something that could have mitigated all of this bullshit is Microsoft throwing this bitch on Azure, which they did not. The game doesn't have dedicated servers, and that's one of the problems. And I'm thinking all the way back to 2013, all these games can have free dedicated servers. Where the fuck did that go? I made a video about that a long-ass time ago. That never happened. And if this game had dedicated servers, worse yet, it's a fucking exclusive. It still doesn't have dedicated servers. Hopefully Microsoft make the decision to just swap it over to dedicated servers or something. I have no clue.
Is that hard to do?
Fix it.
Hard to do to swap it over?
I have no fucking clue. But welcome, Shady.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And welcome to almost 400 people watching live. Thanks for turning up to this random ass stream. Hit that like button. We appreciate it, guys. Shady, give us your thoughts on everything real quick as we get into the meat and the potatoes of this last big topic here.
Everything regarding the show that we watched today?
Just kind of, sum it all up.
It was extremely drawn out. There was a lot of nothing said. For those fans of PUBG, they get a new map soon. That's nice. For the fans of Sea of Thieves, they get DLC soon. That's nice. I wasn't expecting anything huge, to be honest. State of Decay right now is kind of wrapped up in a big shit sandwich, which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to the game. I still am. The biggest bummer for me with the news regarding State of Decay 2 is that the co-op isn't working so good right now. But that's something that can likely be fixed, so I'm not hating on it. I'm just I'm going to wait patiently and hope it gets good.
Yeah, the co-op is kind of the biggest thing, but honestly, I did plan on playing it and then kind of using co-op to level up some of my lower level characters, and that's why I know it's a big deal. It sucks. It should have been pushed back, or they should have sent more people to fix it faster, but it's not going to affect me too much at launch, so I'd be a little bit more, kind of crazy about it too.
Dude,
so
you're gonna love the game. I mean, if you loved the first one, and Jazz, who loved the first one, said the same. He's like, at first I was like, I don't know, this feels like an expansion, but he eventually came around to really liking it. The big sore spot is, like you said, how does Microsoft not let them use the user servers for a seamless co-op experience when it's their own IP and their own game, and they are the cloud company? It's not a good look, to be honest with you. And I think it goes to show where Microsoft's priorities are when it comes to some of these games. Clearly, Sea of Thieves was the poster child for exclusives this year. It got all the marketing, it got all the money, and all that stuff, right? It got the inside Xbox with like 6 segments. State of Decay didn't get all the marketing. It's a $30 title. It's hardly promoted. They had like 1 segment for it on Inside Xbox, but the biggest thing that I noticed was on the day of the embargo for the reviews was that they also announced the Xbox Adaptive Controller. And I didn't really kind of understand why. As much as I really like the Adaptive Controller, they kind of put out this like, it's kind of like saying this is more important than the game we're about to release. And I couldn't see Microsoft doing that to Halo, Gears of War, Forza, where they would have another announcement alongside the review embargo. So that kind of just makes me think that State of Decay wasn't a high priority for Xbox. And I think that's kind of apparent in everything that's kind of gone on with the game.
But a lack of marketing isn't going to keep people from buying State of Decay 2. What will keep people from buying State of Decay 2 is the early reviews that are sitting around a 69 or 70, all day. They were sitting around 72 down to 69. But you guys, we've talked a ton about the multiplayer, the server problems with State of Decay 2, but the PC version is sitting at a 75 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
every game gains 5 points with 60 frames. Fuck. In my book.
Well,
Yeah, the performance is probably
Is
there. It probably looks a little
is-
better, you know.
Yeah, is everybody going to be playing that game on their PC at 60 frames?
No,
you
of
know?
course not. That's why they have two
Yep.
different scores for two versions, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Frame rate stability is massive. You know, I don't. Rand, you're the only one that knows how unstable that supposed locked 30 frames is on the Xbox One and the Xbox One X.
I mean,
So how often is it diving down? Like lately, I've been playing Just Cause 3 because I got that game for like a nickel, and I played it on PC, and I've been playing it this past week, and that game goes down to like 10 frames every time you try to blow something.
I don't think it goes down that low, but you'll see dips into like the 20s here and there. I mean, look, I'm used to fluctuating frame rates. I mean, I'm a console gamer, for Christ's sake. I've been
Damage
gaming
control.
on console.
Yeah.
I mean, but it still takes you out of the experience. Just like with, like, you're driving down the street and you see zombies literally fall from the sky, or zombies spawn inside rocks, or the fact that I can't open up doors or do any of this stuff. Just like characters like going into the ground, just things that you would expect, you wouldn't expect to see, and it does pull you out of the experience. But what the game does right is those moments where you don't have a lot of health, you don't have a lot of stamina, you're about to die and lose your character, and that fight for survival, the fight of trying to get back to your base with the resources that you have so everybody can live. Like, I had a couple scenarios like that, and that like really is what made me enjoy the game. Now, would I recommend it to people? Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're a fan of State of Decay 2, get it. You know, if you really are on the fence, Game Pass is there for you. It's $10. I mean, what is that? A meal at McDonald's or a Starbucks or something?
Oh yeah.
I don't like using Game Pass as an excuse for a game, though. You know, like I see that so much already. Well, you know, you just Game Pass it. No, know what? There's most people probably won't Game Pass it.
Probably.
Like, they probably won't. And I don't like leaning back on Game Pass as a reason that a game is allowed to suck.
Well, I'm not saying it's allowed to suck because it's on Game Pass. I'm just saying if you aren't sure about it, there is Game Pass for you. Like, the game should be great regardless. And there is this question that people are putting out there: is did Microsoft make Game Pass with the idea of putting their first party titles in there because they knew they were mediocre and would be the only way?
Right.
Well, historically, their games haven't been mediocre. Microsoft has so many 80s, it's ridiculous. And they just have hard time breaking through that 90 barrier. You know,
today, Verdict, a guy that does a lot of polls and stuff on Twitter, he pointed out that in 2017 and 2018, I'm going to try to remember these numbers. PS4 had about 14 first-party games, and I guess you'd call them second-party. So anyway, let me get to the point. PS4 had 14 exclusives in 2017 and 2018, and they rated around 82%, I think it was. And Xbox had like 7 in those 2 years, and they rated out at about 75%. And I'm like, well, that's not really that big of a difference. I mean, Xbox has some stinkers, and PlayStation has a couple of them.
Well,
but
let's talk
more
about
games
some
is better.
Let's talk about some stinkers, because everyone's given. First off, State of Decay should not be at a fucking 69 if Sea of Thieves is going to be a 69. Can we talk about that?
I agree.
Because
yes, go ahead.
State of Decay has so much more to do, so many more mechanics, it's so much more in depth. There's so many more systems, but it's just a budget title. It's got some bugs which can be ironed out. They shouldn't be there, but they can be ironed out. Whereas Sea of Thieves is kind of the opposite. It looks fucking fantastic. You got to kind of make your own fun. It's got some really cool things in it, but they are what they are. I'm just saying that I think State of Decay, especially for a State of Decay fan, 69 is kind of insulting if Sea of Thieves is there. So, but you know, you're not allowed to be hyped or excited for games anymore unless they're a fucking 90 anymore, apparently, because nothing's as good as God of War, which, you know, I love God of War. I gave it a 95. It is literally worth it's all everyone's saying it is to me. I absolutely love the game. But you know what? I can like games that aren't a 95 too. So if I want to go and I want to talk about you know, some of the games that I'm excited for or liked, I liked Rise. That's at a 60. 6-0. I liked Rise because of the Batman combat. It looked fucking fantastic and stuff. Not everybody did, but I did. You know, I'm going to like State of Decay 2, and that's at a 69 right now. And really, what happened to the days where Sony guys were hyping up shit and defending stuff that was at around a 70 or below a 70? I remember the days on this YouTube channel, dudes were defending Knack in my comment section at a 59 on Metacritic. GT Sport just got a 75 on Metacritic, not far off, way lower user score. Order 1886, 63 on Metacritic. People defended that fucking game for days, and we're just acting like it was the end all be all. Killzone Shadowfall 74. People were even defending Godzilla at a 38 on Metacritic. No Man's Sky a couple years ago at a 71.
Yeah.
I mean, don't act like this is anything new. So, you know, it is what it is, guys. You can enjoy games just because they're not fucking, you know, just around the table renowned. I think I can be excited for State of Decay 2. And if you're listening and you're excited for State of Decay 2, I think that's perfectly acceptable, especially if you played the first one. You know this one's better than that one in every way. Wouldn't you say, Shady?
I think it does look much better in every single way than the first game, both in the way just visually and the way it runs. But I haven't played it yet, so it's hard to say on the way it runs, the aspect of it. I was going to say, I grew up in a time of like Blockbuster and other stores you could rent games, and I rented them all the time. And I have no problem admitting that this is a good renter. So far, looking in, it's a great game to rent. Don't instantly dive in and spend all your money if you're not 100% convinced that this is the game for you. And Game Pass is better than any Blockbuster deal I had at the time. You got 100+ games for a full month, not 3 days. It costs roughly the same. I'm down for playing the game. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it big time.
Yeah, and like Rand said, if you're not excited or if you're on the fence, I really do encourage people to try it out. Try it out on Game Pass. I encourage people to try out Sea of Thieves on Game Pass. I might Sea of Thieves review. Try it out, you know, and I'll probably release a review myself and tell you exactly what's wrong with the game, in my opinion, and how it stays true to the first game. Not sure on that yet, but in either case, guys, any other things you guys kind of want to wrap up? Any other thoughts?
I got a question. Does watching people escape a room make you want to buy a State of Decay 2? Because I still don't understand that. I don't get it. Someone in PR, please teach me the ways, because I honestly think that was some of the most horrible, cringy shit I've seen.
It goes back to what I said at the beginning of the podcast. Microsoft is so disconnected from their fan base. They have no idea what we like. And I just don't get, it's not that difficult.
I think they do know, but they're just caught in that they're caught with their pants down, where holy shit, we're just in the middle of we're in the middle of developing these big ass fucking games that are what we're talking about wanting.
Yeah, but we're talking about like how they present things and their marketing strategies.
Yeah.
So
100%, yeah.
Totally disconnected. And I work kind of in a marketing field, and so many times I've watched people who think they know it's great, or they think they know it's cool, or I remember a couple of years ago, they asked me, "Hey, is there any way we can incorporate what do you call it? This is like super trendy. A flash mob." They're like, "Is there any way we can incorporate a flash mob into showing how we're going to show these projects?" And I'm like, "Are you?" And like, there was a bunch of people in management like on board with trying to incorporate flash mob into what we were trying to push at my job, which totally doesn't. This is like how I look at Microsoft. They remind me so much of the people I work with. Sometimes they're so disconnected from what they think is cool or what they think is what people want to see. And I think Microsoft needs to figure out real quick about what their fan base wants to see.
It's common sense. Don't fucking show Super Lucky's Tale Game Pass commercial when God of War reviews are hitting the same fucking day. You better hide in a hole. Don't bring out Super Lucky's Tale. That's not the thing we want to see. That's not the reason people subscribe to Game Pass, and it's not going to stack up. And I feel like that's common fucking sense. So I've always said the marketing team there sucks. They're spending their budget on waffle makers instead of, I've seen more commercials for the Switch in a year than I had the Xbox the whole generation.
Yep.
So we say this because we want to see improvements. We're fans. We wouldn't be saying this otherwise. Because we care. We want to see things do better, and we want to see marketing, proper marketing, good marketing, not fucking Super Lucky's Tale Game Pass commercials the day the best game of the generation comes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking, how stupid are you? You trying to distract motherfuckers from God of War with Super Lucky's Tale? Is that your thinking? I don't believe it. So
Don Duke in the chat is saying fire Phil and fire Major Nelson. I don't think
no.
Phil Spencer's not. Yeah, like that's not the problem. No,
Phil doesn't do the marketing. Maybe he could help appoint someone that's better at it.
Microsoft doesn't do it. They contracted out. But there's just
hire the guy that's hiring the motherfuckers. I don't know. Like, fire the dude that needs to hire some new dudes because the dudes suck, all of them. That's the most I could say about it. Either way, Rand's right. The State of Decay 2 escape room ain't gonna do nothing for nobody. It seems like it was kind of designed for 10-year-olds. That's the only, I don't. It's hard to imagine many of you guys were that engrossed by that. And let us know what you think down below. But once again, guys, thanks for hearing us out. We're just fans that want to see things improve. There's a reason we run these YouTube channels. We spent thousands of hours making videos for everybody and talking about things and bringing information to you guys. And this is another one, just stating kind of the current thoughts of Inside Xbox. E3 is going to be badass. I don't care what anybody says, even if they're, both Sony and Microsoft are going to have primarily multi-plats. We know that. I'm looking forward to seeing Anthem and fucking Cyberpunk and Red Dead and all the cool shit to come. So let us know what you think down below, man. Rand, where can people find you, man, as we head out of here? Hit that like button, guys. We appreciate it.
Well, this is Randall Escape Room. You can find my channel, youtube.com/RandallThor19. Thanks for having me on, dealer. I look forward to escaping this podcast, just like those YouTubers escaped that escape room. And I'm suddenly thinking about buying State of Decay 2. I don't know why. Maybe it did work. It worked.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to escaping this podcast and going to see Deadpool 2. So I get to go see Deadpool 2. I'll come back and play some State of Decay 2 and be like, yep, this is exactly what I said it was going to be 6 months on a video. So anyway, Colt, where can people find you, brother?
You can find me at Colt Eastwood on YouTube and Twitter, and send me a message. We'll talk about stuff. It's kind of been a tough day because I woke up early in the morning with a message about the State of Decay Metacritic score, and I'm like, I like to spend a lot of my energy on my channel, like kind of pointing out what's great about the Xbox platform and why we enjoy it, and why we're fans, and what there is to look forward to. And it's been a little bit difficult with this disconnect, and I mean, a big part of me realizes that E3 is coming and they don't want any of that talked about at all. And I'm not saying that they're going to save their whole entire problem at E3, but we're going to see some cool stuff. So there will be stuff to be excited about.
You know what? Eric in the super chat, he says Microsoft can't count on these AA/bargain bin developers. I agree. I don't think Undead Labs is a bargain bin developer. I just think standards have risen. I think for what the game is, it's still the most unique zombie game ever made. I mean, if you just play State of Decay, you'd know. But you're right. They can't. And that's why they've just formed that massive fucking studio and they're doing the things. But it sucks, but it's going to take a little bit of time, man. We all fucking hate it. But you know what? Here's one good thing about Inside Xbox. They got that fucking Sea of Thieves announcement out of the way. No more seeing Sea of Thieves on the stage at E3. They got the Halo spinoff, because I think that's what that was, Rand, out of the way. You're not going to have that news fucking destroy all the positivity at E3. And, we can just kind of move forward with maybe the worst behind us and the worst Inside Xbox, hopefully, behind us and move on. So, Shady, man, I know you didn't say too much, brother. We're all trying to get the fuck out of here. Let us know, any final thoughts and where people can find you.
My final thoughts, I just wanted to speak again on that controller they unveiled. I think that is a fantastic piece of technology for both the people out there that could use such a device to enable them to play the video games they might be missing out on, and for just anyone, quite frankly, that might want to mix up the way they play their own games. It looks to have a huge amount of variety to it and what you can actually do with this thing. I think it's awesome, and anyone who says anything bad about it is a fucking asshole. But other than that, you can find me on this very channel next Tuesday on RDX, and then you can also hit me up on Twitter at the Sesh Empire. Thanks for coming out.
And you know what? You should probably remove the auto DM feature. I was gonna give you shit for that, so I might as well give you shit for it now. Nobody wants that, Shady. So
what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know.
I followed you on Twitter, and then I got a DM saying, "Thanks for following me in the Sesh Empire." Blah 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 blah.
Actually, I get roughly 50% of the people that are glad that I did it, and they're happy to be a part of the Sesh Empire.
Hey, I'm happy to be a part of the Sesh Empire, but nobody likes auto DMs.
Except for the other half, the people that have messaged me back.
Apparently. I love them.
No. They must be eradicated.
You're both frauds. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Follow Shady at the Sesh Empire on Twitter. Follow me at dealer_gaming on Twitter. My DMs are open. Any one of you motherfuckers can reach out, ask me a question, say what's up. Same for these other guys up here. And once again, thanks for rocking out with us. Hit that like button. We appreciate it, guys. Could have made this a normal video, but there's just a lot to talk about, as you can tell. And check it out if you missed the beginning. A lot of interesting stuff at the beginning of the video. So we're out, guys.
Peace.
Peace.